The tragic death of Floyd George in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a very liberal state, leftist state. The governor was the former head of the DNC, is actually himself a member of the Nation of Islam with Louis Farrakhan, if you can believe that. That death was most likely unjustified. We have to hold our right now, so to speak. We found that we were wrong in Ferguson, Missouri. We were wrong in Baltimore, Maryland. We were wrong with Trayvon Martin. But it's being abused. It's being used by anarchists, by ultra-leftists, by miscreants, by domestic terrorists. The president just announced that he's designating Antifa, who I've sued in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California for one of their various attacks on my client, Kiara Robles, a fine gay woman who went to see the speech of Milo Yiannopoulos, a conservative, a Breitbart at the time, was attacked, was pepper sprayed, was harmed as the Berkeley police stood and watched. I sued them all. The case is in the courts. But what we now see now is the breakout of a civil war stoked by the left, and it's going to continue. And you're going to see radicals on the right now come in. There's probably going to be, God forbid, more blood and destruction by the end of the week. But this is the problem in the United States right now, and it's something that, ironically, the left and right have in common. There's a total distrust of government. You can't believe anything the government says. There's a lack of respect, and we are at the point that Jefferson predicted where the blood of patriots is going to be shed. But the problem here is that it's not just the blood of patriots, because these people aren't patriots who are looting and stealing in downtown Manhattan, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in Los Angeles, California, and throughout the United States. These are radicals. These are radicals who are using the situation to take advantage and to destroy the country. And as this happens, our police, who by and large are very fine people, I represent Philly cops, for instance, who have been discriminated against because of their views with regard to some of these people on their private Facebook pages and Twitter pages. This is something which needs to be addressed. We cannot be afraid. And the police that are standing around in downtown Manhattan and in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Los Angeles, California, doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs because they're afraid that they're going to be called racist, they're not doing their job either. And that's where we are today. Now let's back up. I know I'm rambling a bit, but there's a lot involved here. Who started this? Who stoked it? Who gave a green light to these anarchists and leftists? None other than our former president, Barack Obama. We were doing quite well in race relations before he became president and before his wife, Michelle, decided they were going to whip this up. You remember? If I had a son, he would look like Trayvon. Well, my client, George Zimmerman, was acquitted on self-defense grounds. He didn't do anything wrong. In fact, he was a neighborhood social worker helping Black kids. He's a Democrat. Really, the blood that's now going to be shed is primarily the result of our former president, Barack Obama, who's not gone yet. He's still there. And joining him, as he invited to the White House many times, were race-baiting con men, fraudsters, and vigilantes like Al Sharpton. And this is why we conservatives, we need to rise up peacefully and legally. We have to put our foot down. This cannot be permitted in any sector. It's time that we bring the races together. And that's why I brought lawsuits for Zimmerman against race baiters like the lawyer of the Trayvon Martin family, Crump, Benjamin Crump, who wrote a book, I'm paraphrasing, I try to forget the name, White Genocide Against Colored People. You know, it's unbelievable what's going on today, and the country's being torn apart at the seams. Soon, these barbarians will be right outside your house, and they will be looting your house, and they'll be coming in to threaten you. So it is a very, very dire situation. And we at Freedom Watch are seeking to address that as best we can, peacefully and legally, not just with regard to these kinds of individuals who want to destroy our country, but the communist Chinese, for a 1-2 punch, are attempting to destroy our country with the release of a bioweapon from a laboratory in Wuhan, China, causing major death and destruction, health-wise and financially. So I ask you to support our class action against the communist Chinese in Dallas, Texas. Support the criminal complaint that we have brought in The Hague, Holland, and join our Justice League. See if you qualify as a putative class action plaintiff and support our efforts. We have a lawsuit against Antifa. The president just declared it a domestic terrorist organization in San Francisco, California. It's now up on appeal because we got a judge in that case, Claudia Wilken, who was a graduate and had taught school at the University of California at Berkeley. This is what we're dealing with federal judges. So now we're up on appeal. Join us. Join our fight. Join our Justice League. Join our counter peaceful and legal revolution by going to freedomwatchusa.org. freedomwatchusa.org. Contribute with tax-deductible contributions. We're small, but we must get bigger to fight the fight. And share this podcast, which you can find at freedomwatchusa.org, at Spotify, on iTunes, at Amazon Fire, at Roku, on Facebook, on Twitter, at radioamerica.com. And I thank radioamerica.com for allowing me to speak the truth every morning with these special podcasts. God bless you. God bless your family. Stay safe. Button down the hatches because we're in for a rocky road, and join Freedom Watch's Justice League at freedomwatchusa.org. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of our special podcast, Special Prosecutor with Larry Klayman.
Eggs for breakfast becoming a yawn? Wake them up with Cholula. For a flavor that'll have you running laps around your living room. Woohoo! Cholula hot sauce, the best thing ever to happen to eggs. Choose Cholula.
Thank you for listening to me.